What if the Great Pyramid was not the greatest structure the ancient Egyptians ever built at all? What if we are overlooking evidence proving an ancient engineering tradition once existed and then vanished?
Today, we explore structures most visitors never see and confront a question archaeologists avoid.
Where did the Egyptians learn the techniques to build the Great Pyramid? The Khufu Pyramid is seen as the beginning of greatness. 2.3 million stones.
Many blocks weigh over 70 tons. Their surfaces deviate by only 0.04 degrees.
Archaeologists claim everything was built using workers pulling stones, earthen ramps, and copper tools.
But ancient methods alone cannot explain precision so exact that modern engineers use lasers to replicate it.
And then, an even greater paradox appears.
If the pyramid is the peak, where is the root? Nabta Playa shatters assumptions. Not random stones, an ancient astronomical device aligned precisely with the solstice sun. A stone circle in the desert dated 7,500 years ago, far older than Giza.
With deviations of only minutes of arc, meaning hunter-gatherers mastered precise astronomy.
So where did they learn it? Why did they know it so early?
This predates Egypt.
And this is only the tip of the iceberg, hinting at knowledge far older than the desert reveals.
Abydos, the Osireion. Massive granite blocks locked with grooves, showing a design logic unlike later Egypt.
Archaeologists attribute it to Seti III, yet its structural language differs dramatically from his era.
Some blocks weigh over 100 tons and lie beneath later constructions, an undeniable architectural contradiction. Why would a pharaoh build atop an older structure, unless he was restoring something far more ancient? This suggests a foundation older than Egypt itself, hidden beneath layers of official history.
The Serapeum contains 24 granite sarcophagi, weighing up to 100 tons each.
But the real shock lies in surfaces polished to near-machine precision, beyond copper's capability.
Edges sharp enough that a blade cannot pass. Surfaces smooth as glass, free of tool marks. Copper cannot achieve this. Diorite approaches steel hardness, raising questions archaeology avoids.
If they achieved machine-level precision here, why are smaller monuments from the same era far rougher?
This implies hunter-gatherers possessed astronomical mastery far beyond civilizations that rose millennia later.
So where did they learn this knowledge? And why did they understand the sky so early?
We are looking at a technical consciousness before Egypt itself, yet this is only the surface.
At Abydos's depths, interlocking granite blocks suggest engineering far older than dynastic influence.
Though linked to Seti I, its construction style contradicts every known element of his era.
100-ton blocks buried beneath later structures show a sequence of construction that defies accepted timelines. This forms a paradox. Why would a pharaoh build atop a structure already ancient in his own time?
Unless he was restoring a monument from a forgotten civilization predating dynastic Egypt.
And this leads us deeper into underground engineering that challenges everything we know.
In Saqqara's Serapeum, granite and diorite sarcophagi weighing 6 to 100 tons await in silent perfection. How were they transported and positioned inside narrow, winding corridors deep beneath the desert floor?
The surfaces and corners are impossibly precise, polished with near-machine perfection, beyond anything copper tools could achieve.
If copper and quartz sand were their only tools,
Each granite box would require centuries of relentless labor to finish.
The unfinished Aswan Obelisk weighs an estimated 1,200 tons, abandoned after a catastrophic crack.
This reveals the physical limit of their methods, or at least the limit of the technology that survived to this era. Yet during the same era, the 720-ton colossi of Memnon were transported successfully, and 100-ton blocks were placed with extreme precision inside the underground Serapeum without visible struggle.
So why succeed at the harder tasks, yet fail catastrophically at something seemingly easier?
Technical ability rises and collapses abruptly, a pattern impossible for a civilization developing in linear progression.
This leads to a stronger hypothesis, one that emerges directly from the evidence itself.
The Egyptians were not the originators. They were inheritors of a much older engineering tradition.
Astronomy too early, architecture too advanced, precision too perfect, and technology that suddenly disappears. This suggests an older layer of lost knowledge, belonging to a civilization we have not yet identified.
And it forces one final question that challenges every belief about ancient Egypt's true origin. Nabta Playa, Osireion, Serapeum, Aswan, all four reveal one shared pattern of ancient mastery. Early astronomy too advanced, megalithic architecture too precise, underground engineering too perfect for copper tools. And in every site, a sudden disappearance of the very technology that made them possible.
It is an unnatural pattern, knowledge rising sharply, then collapsing without any gradual decline.
Such non-linear development suggests the Egyptians inherited techniques rather than inventing them. A shadow civilization may have existed long before Egypt, capable of engineering unmatched even today. Its structures may lie beneath layers of sand and dynasties, absorbed into Egypt's earliest identity. Who aligned desert stones with celestial precision thousands of years before pharaonic Egypt existed? And who constructed subterranean complexes with tolerances identical to modern machining, then vanished?
But if Egypt inherited rather than invented, then we must ask who the true originators were.
Who mastered stone harder than steel? Who carved granite smoother than modern machines?
These are not fringe questions. They are contradictions carved into the stone itself. And no matter how archaeology avoids them, the structures remain as undeniable evidence. And when we speak of inheritance, one figure in Egypt stands above all others. Evidence of a forgotten engineering lineage, echoes of a civilization erased before Egypt was born.
Imhotep, the architect so extraordinary that later generations worshipped him as a god of wisdom.
He designed step pyramids and monumental complexes with knowledge far exceeding the tools of his time. But if even Imhotep inherited techniques, then his teachers belonged to an even older world.
So we return to the question archaeology fears most.
If you were Imhotep, where would you learn techniques that do not belong to your era?
Who passed them down? Who mastered them first? Who vanished before history began?
These questions are not speculative. They arise directly from physical evidence across Egypt's oldest sites.
And the deeper we look, the more the timeline of human knowledge begins to appear incomplete.
As if an entire chapter of engineering history has been deliberately erased or forgotten. Egypt's oldest structures are not just monuments. They are messages carved in impossible precision. And if this chapter is missing, then our understanding of civilization's origin may be entirely wrong.
And if our timeline is wrong, then every assumption about ancient technological progress collapses instantly.
Messages hinting at knowledge far older, deeper, and more advanced than history currently recognizes. And those messages point toward a civilization erased long before pharaohs claimed the desert.
Not aliens, not fantasy. A human culture whose engineering surpassed what came thousands of years later.
A culture that mastered stone at a level modern engineers still struggle to understand fully.
And whose disappearance left Egypt inheriting tools they themselves could no longer replicate.
Just as later kingdoms built atop older ruins, early Egyptians may have done the same.
The great mystery is not how Egypt rose, but what fell before Egypt ever existed.
Something advanced enough to shape granite like butter, yet primitive history never recorded it.
Something able to move 100-ton stones with ease, then vanish without leaving a single written trace.
And something whose knowledge reappears suddenly in Egypt, fully formed, without any developmental stages.
This is why the first pyramid is the best built, not the last, as logic would suggest. A civilization does not start at perfection unless it inherited perfection from somewhere else.
And when Egypt begins, it begins suddenly, with architecture already centuries ahead of itself.
Nabta Playa's astronomy, Osirion's megaliths, Serapeum's machining, Aswan limits, they all tell one story.
A story of lost knowledge, fragmented across ruins yet pointing unmistakably toward one forgotten origin. An origin buried under Egyptian sand, swallowed by time, and erased from official history. And it leads to the final question, the one Egyptology cannot answer without rewriting human history.
If this forgotten civilization existed, what else did they build that still lies undiscovered beneath the desert?
When combining Nabta Playa, Osireion, Serapeum, and Aswan, the same pattern appears again and again.